Hello, today I'll be sharing an EventBus system that I made that will be very helpful when working with any kind of events in your game, especially on my Ocean Goblin series. I'll be using this EventBus. So I'll be just showing how it's working, and later on the latter state video, I'll be showing a practical example of how this all works. Okay, so I'll start by the utils folder. Um, just GlobalLogger class, static class that just check if it's in Unity editor. Uh, to disable the log messages, and just static methods just to log any kind of message error or warning. Next, we got the event bus. I'll start on the interface first. Later, I'll be going to the system implementation. So, we got the IEvent. Basically, this interface is just to tell that every event that you're gonna invoke needs to implement this IEvent interface. There's no methods, no implementation here. It's just to you are invoking is just an event. Okay, this can be implemented by classes and structs. Next, we got the IEventInvoker. It's like the same thing like the IEvent, but instead of events needs to implement this. Um, it's the invokers needs to implement this class so that they are able to invoke any type of events. And as you can see here, it requires an event type and event argument. All right, I'll just change this event parameter. All right, and next we got the IEventListener, uh, and just basically got two methods that every listener to any kind of event needs to implement. So if you're um, trying to listen to any event, you subscribe in the start method. It will debug an error saying that you do not implement this interface. Just to be more in control of who are listening, who are invoking the events, and what are the events. That's why I just made this system to work this way. Then we got the IEventParameter that basically every event that will be used as a parameter needs to implement. And for example, one way to use this is, let's say that you press your inventory button. You can use your event system to first invoke the player pressed the inventory button, and the player inventory class will be invoking another event uh, to the inventory UI, say that, for example, class here, and here you can just add your items array or whatever, and just invoke this class. But it needs to implement the IEvent and IEvent parameter. And once the player invoke this class, the UI will be listening, and then we'll be creating all the icons, descriptions, and everything that the UI needs. And and then we got the IEvent priority that just got 3 levels: low, medium, and high. Just to, let's say that more than one object are listening to the same event, you can change the priority of every listener. Just make sure that, for example, one is higher and another one is lower on the priority. And and then we got the event definition and the event bus. Um, let's start by the event definition. First, we got a dictionary that got the event listener's priority and the delegate. these are the event listeners. And we got the add listener method that just check if we got this event listener priority already added to the dictionary, and then combine the delegate that we are adding here, the listener, then we just return. Else, if there's no delegate there, there's, let's say that it's the first listener, then we just set the delegate to this listener. And here on the remove listener method, we check for each key. And the reason why we check for each key is that we can access directly the delegate. That's why and we don't know what priority the listener to remove is. That's why I check for each key. Then we just try to get, and if does not contain or the listener delegate like here is new, then just continue to the next key. And once we got the the event priority key, just get the invocation list, and if this contain the listener to remove here, then we just remove. Alright. And then we just got the invoke method that invoke starting by the high, medium, and low, passing the event param as an argument. You see that it's automatically setting to no, because if you don't want to pass any parameter, you can just call this invoke method like this, invoke. You don't need to pass any parameter. And then we just got this method that is called here that invoke the listener priority and the event parameter. And we just check if the event priority exists inside our listeners dictionary. And then if the event parameter is not new, then we invoke this delegate right here, passing the event parameter. Else, just invoke without any arguments. And that is the event definition. Now let's go to the EventBus. And here we got like the same thing, but instead of listener's priority, we got the type, the event type, and then the event definition. And here inside the static constructor, just listen to the scene unloaded action from Unity Scene Manager to when we load the current scene here, just clear the current event definitions dictionary. Like we hit reset here. Like we reset the dictionary here. Then we got the subscribe method. You see that it can be used as a generic and the default action. Because if you're using parameters, you want to specify what kind of event you're listening to. That's why the T needs to implement IEvent. And then you got the event listener priority that is by default is set to low. Then we got the event type and check if the event listener attends to required event parameters and also implements listener interface. And then we subscribe to event listener event, passing as argument these three parameters. And the same thing happens here. So these methods here just basically check if the listener is able to listen to the event. Basically, we check if the event requires any type of argument, and if it does, and we check that if it does require and you're not implementing like an action that implements the parameter, you'll be receive an error saying that your method is not including does not include necessary parameters to this event. Else, if you're listening to an event that does not require any parameters, but you're still using parameters, then you got an error saying that you're including unnecessary parameters to this event. And here we are just checking if we, for example, if the event requires parameter and we the listener have parameters like this is a generic action, then we return true that we can uh, add this listener, we can subscribe to this listener. And the same thing happens here if the event requires parameter is false and the event listener type is equals to the type of action without any parameters, then we return to also allow the subscription. All right. And the same thing happen here. The same thing happens here. And we do the same type of check here. Just check if the IEventListener implements the I if the event listener implements the IEventListener. It does not, we just throw this error here. Then we got the unsubscribe methods, like the same thing. Just check contains the event type that we are subscribing. Then we just remove. And what else is left? And then we got this subscribed event listener to event that we call here and here. We basically try to get the value of this event type. We already created an event definition of this event type. And if we create it, then we just add the listener to this event definition using the event listener and the priority. Else, we create a new event definition of this event type and then just add again like we did here. All right. And then we just got the invoke method that requires the event type, the IEvent notifier, and the event parameter. This event notifier I'm not using on the implementation. It's just to make sure that every invoker implements that because it needs to pass as an argument and you can only use this keyword. That's why I just added the event notifier here. Then we first check if anyone is listening to this event. If there's no one listening to this event, then we just invoke this, just log this warning, say that invoking event without any listeners to this event. Else, we check if the events require any parameter and we are invoking a new parameter, and just log another error saying that we're invoking an event where with new parameters where it's necessary to assign parameters. Like I said, something like the inventory, the player inventory. You want to invoke that event, but passing as an argument as a parameter your inventory items. And then we just invoke passing the event parameter. And that is the implementation of the event definition. All right. So yeah, that's it. That's it for this EventBus system. It works well. I guess there are some points where I can improve this EventBus system, but I'll be improving as we go using real life games like the Ghosts and Goblins that I'll be using there on the ladder state and the player climbing state uh, to avoid coupling between these two objects. So yeah, that's it. I also got this logger, but it's just a tools class. And yeah, that's it. I hope you'll like it, and I'll see you in the next video.